Hello, everyone, and thanks for listening. So, I'm looking at a story here about Nigerian police raid frees scores of beaten, starved boys. And I'm going to show you a photo up here up top, and the photo is really disturbing. So, I have to warn you if you're a little skittish, and so you can see a similar story about what this article is about. So, Nigerian president vows crackdown on abusive Islamic schools after second raid. And so you see, this is by a Desmond McBall out of Reuters, and you see a photo here. It's a 14-year-old boy, one of the hundreds of men and boys rescued by police from an institution purporting to be an Islamic school that reveals scars on this boy's back at a transit camp set up to take care of the released captives in Kaduna, I believe. So this is Kano, Nigeria. Nigerian president on Tuesday ordered the crackdown on abusive Islamic schools after the second police raid in less than a month revealed that men and boys are subject to beating, abuse, and squalid conditions. And so nearly 300 had been held captive at the school in Dara area of Katsina, the hometown of the president Muhammadu Buhari, where the police said that they discovered inhumane and degrading treatment following a raid on Monday to free the remaining students. So late last month, police freed hundreds from similarly degrading conditions in the neighboring Kaduna state. And so Mr. President has directed the police to disband all such centers and all the inmates to be handed over to their parents, said the president's spokesman. So the government cannot allow centers where people, male and female, are being maltreated in the name of religion, he said. And so prior to the week's raid, hundreds of captives had escaped the center, police said on Tuesday. So 67 inmates were freed by Katsina. Police were shackled and many were taken to the hospital for treatment, police superintendent Isha Gambo told Reuters. So I tell you, they were in very bad condition when we met them, Gambo said. So a freed captive told Reuters on Monday that the instructors beat, raped, and even killed some of the men and boys held at the facility, who range from anywhere from 7-year-old to 40 years old of age. It was not immediately possible to verify his account. So while the institution told parents it was an Islamic teaching center that would help straighten out wayward family members, the instructors instead brutally abused them and took away any food or money sent by the relatives. I deeply regret taking my child to a rehabilitation center because I was ignorant of what was actually going on here. This was said by an Alhaji or Alhad Laway Garka, a parent of one of the captives, told Reuters on Tuesday. So police said that they had arrested the owner of the facility and 2 teachers and were tracking other suspects. So local residents Umar Galadima said that the escaped captives were running for their lives. So that's how bad this place was. They were starving and beating them, raping them, even killing them. So these people were trying to get away. They were supposedly supposed to help these families with these kids, but they were doing totally the opposite. They were stealing their money and taking all of their goods, and they were abusing these people. Very troubling. And so local resident Umar Galadima, said that the escaped captives were running for their lives with some throwing stones and brandishing weapons to fend off workers who tried to take them back to the facility. So there are more than 200 captives there who escaped were still missing. Gambo said police were working to reunite the others with family members. So the inmates were actually from different parts of the country: Kanu, Taraba, and Adamawa, and Plateau states. He said, so some of them are not even Nigerians. They come from Niger, Chad, and even Burkina Faso and other countries. So Islamic schools called al-Majiris are common in mostly Muslim north of Nigeria. Muslim Rights Concern, a local organization, estimates about 10 million children attend them. So Buhari said the government planned to ban the schools eventually, but he has not yet commented on Katsina school. So this was a Desmond Magbo in Kanu, and so that's who was reporting. So this is a similar article saying Nigerian police raid free scores of beaten, starved boys. That's out of Associated Press. Lagos, Nigeria. Beaten, starved, sexually assaulted, chained up. For the second time in a month, police in northern Nigeria have raided a building where hundreds of boys were held in dehumanizing conditions, officials said Tuesday. This time in a building that was discovered the President Muhammadu Buhari's hometown, putting pressure on him to act against the practice of sending children to institutions run by Islamic scholars rather than conventional schools. So the children are often sent out on the streets to beg. More than 300 boys had been held in the building raided on Monday in Daring. Katsina State Police spokesman Gambo Issa told the Associated Press. So the building was discovered when some of the boys who had escaped on Sunday and protested against excessive torture. So many of those rescued have been sent to hospitals on the account of the ill treatment they suffered, Issa said. So some of them are unable to walk because of the injuries they sustained after being chained for several years. That is horrible. So they were prisoners and they were being tortured at a school that was supposed to be helping them. So the building's owner and other people involved are arrested, Issa said. 67 boys were rescued. Search parties are looking for ones who had escaped. So some of the boys had been enrolled by their families of Quranic studies. Issa said others had been sent there because of delinquency for their treatment for drug addiction and an attempt at character remolding. So police said the school's proprietor, 78-year-old Bello May Al-Mahari, has been in the business for about 40 years, and now he has become old and he no longer has the capacity to run the rehab Islamic school. So the raid follows one late last month of Kaduna City where the police discovered 400 boys and young men. Marks on their bodies showed that some of them had been tortured, police said. The office of Nigerian's president did not immediately comment on the latest raid. An aide to Buhari, who comes from the north, earlier this year noted the widespread view that the Al-Mahari or Al-Maji, I may not be saying correctly, but it's really sad what I'm reading, that these boys and these men and these girls, I heard there were some girls or young people that were tortured. And so it sounds like it was more boys though. And so They rejected reports that the president had banned the system, so the federal government wants the situation where every child of the primary school age is in school rather than beginning or begging on the streets during school hours, he said. So at the same time, we don't want to create panic or a backlash. Many Nigerians have expressed concern that some who study at Alma Almajiri, and I may be saying it wrong, institutions are prone to religious extremism. So it sounds really familiar with what goes on here in the States, where there's it's called religious extremism to the fullest extent. So I'm going to leave it here. You can see this boy's back, how he's been abused and beaten. It's really sad, but this is what has gone on. And so all these boys, they were starved, they were sexually abused, they were raped, beaten, some were killed. Sounds like it was a boys' school, so I thought I heard they mentioned something about girls, females as well, so I'm not sure, but it sounds like it was more males. Yeah, so if I was reading the first one, I thought I heard that it was families as well, some other people, older people there. So it said men and boys, so it looks like it was men and boys in squalid conditions, abuse, beatings, and also I heard the word rape. They were abused sexually. And so food was withheld from them. They found all of these people trying to fend these workers off. Workers were trying to drag them back. Some of these people were chained up for years, and they had been badly abused and beaten so bad that some of them could not even walk. So what do you think about this? Is extremism to the fullest extent, religious extremism in this sense. So it's just sad, but this not only exists in these countries, but I believe it also goes on, and there's been situations that have happened here in the U.S. where people have extreme beliefs of extremism in their religion that they involved, where they do things like this, where they want people to conform to their beliefs, and if they don't conform, then they are abused, they're tortured, they're raped, they're beaten, or something is withheld from them, or they're belittled or emotionally battered. So with that being said, I'm going to let this video go. This is just really sad, but this is not uncommon. But we'll see how this story develops, because it looks right here, if you can see to my right, the police freed hundreds of males and some chained and beat Nigerian school in the third raid this month. So it was the third raid. The third, not the first and second, but the third raid. Look at all of these boys. So it looks like a school for boys, basically. I don't see any females there. Although if anybody knows, it has more information about this, maybe you know if there were any. It looked like it was men and boys, or young men. With that being said, thanks for listening.